Now for a film that has withstood the test of more than half a century, a classic which is dubbed one of the greatest love stories in the world, a film which has some of the most unforgettable lines in cinematic history.
Here's looking at you, kid. We'll always have Paris.
Round up the usual suspects.
I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
And of course the evocative and heart-tugging number As Time Goes By, played by Sam of the apocryphal line, Play It Again, Sam. Michael Curtis's Casablanca, starring the cold, wounded-looking, craggy-visaged Humphrey Bogart and the luminescently beautiful Ingrid Bergman, is a film one never tires of watching a number of times.
Many eyes in imprisoned Europe turned hopefully or desperately toward the freedom of the Americas.
The story takes place during the World War II, when the Germans have invaded France, a country from where many people are making their way to Moroccan Casablanca to get to America. Nearly everyone's watering hole in Casablanca is Rick's Cafe, run by, no prizes for guessing, but Rick Blaine, the cynical, tough-demeanored Humphrey Bogart, but with a tender, marshmallowy heart under that sarcastic and grouchy exterior. He's particularly unattainable to women, making him all the more attractive. Soon into the cafe walk in a couple, Ilsa Lund and her husband, the Czech freedom fighter Victor Laszlo. The two are on the run from the Nazis and have come to Rick's night spot to meet a fellow resistance member who will hand them their transit visas to America. The moment Ilsa claps her eyes on Sam and he averts his, you know there's a story here, a past. And a past that involves Rick.
Leave him alone, Miss Elsa. You bad luck to him.
Play it once, Sam.
You must remember this. A kiss is just a kiss.
Ilsa and Rick were lovers briefly in Paris before the German invasion. And when Rick asks her to leave the country with him, she becomes all mysterious and evasive and eventually disappears after leaving him a note. Rick is devastated but must flee because he's wanted by the Germans. Nursing a broken heart, he lives with that crusty touch-me-not air in Casablanca until Ilsa walks into the same hotel with none other than her husband. It turns out that she still loves Rick and tries to explain to him why she abandoned him.
Can I tell you a story, Rick?
Has it got a wow finish?
I don't know the finish yet.
Well, go on, tell it. Maybe one will come to you as you go along.
It's about a girl who had just come to Paris from her home in Oslo. At the house of some friends, she met a man about whom she had heard her whole life. A very great and courageous man. And she looked up to him and worshipped him with a feeling she supposed was love.
Bergman is incomparably beautiful. Her eyes speak so eloquently and her smile could put out the sparkle in any diamond. She is radiant one moment, gorgeously melancholy the next, enigmatic, childlike, frosty, tormented. Her eyes reflect myriad emotions. Bogart too is brilliant, particularly in the scenes when he's tortured and tormented by his feelings for Bergman. The whole world has always raved about what a perfectly cast pair Bogart and Bergman are in this film and how palpable the chemistry between them. Now, I've seen Casablanca some half a dozen times and I beg to disagree on this particular point. If anything, it's the love and respect that Ilsa and her husband Victor Laszlo, played beautifully by Paul Henreid, have for each other that's palpable.
I love you very much, my dear.
Victor, whatever I do, will you believe that
You don't even have to say it. I'll believe. Good night, dear.
I've always found this respect and affection much more real than the so-called chemistry between Bogart and Bergman. In fact, I always found Bogart's petulance hugely annoying when he's nasty to Bergman and questions her integrity.
Did you run out on me because you couldn't take it, because you knew what it would be like? Hiding from the police, running away all the time?
You can believe that if you want to.
Well, I'm not running away anymore. I'm settled now. Above a saloon, it's true, but to walk up a flight, I'll be expecting you.
As opposed to Laszlo's maturity and faith in his wife, this scene is a classic example of a rare case of maturity in a man.
Ilsa,
Yes.
When I was in a concentration camp, were you lonely in Paris?
Yes, Victor, I was.
I know how it is to be lonely. Is there anything you wish to tell me?
No, Victor, there isn't.
Of course, later Bogart sacrifices his love for Bergman, even though she says that she will leave Laszlo for him. Bogart helps them both escape from Casablanca and all that, but I still stick to what I said. It is Laszlo's love that is more noble and deep in my eyes. In fact, I find certain inconsistencies in the plot. Bergman finding out that her husband is actually alive exactly on the day she was to leave Paris with Bogart. And then the very same she later deciding to leave her husband, the husband she almost venerates, for Bogart in Casablanca. Now, all of this is very, very unconvincing each time I watch the film. In fact, I've had the same niggling feeling each time. And to be honest, this has always taken away something from my complete enjoyment of the movie. I still love it, believe me, but I've never felt quite fulfilled after watching it because of these particular inconsistencies. I wonder if I'm the only one in the world to feel this way. If you have an opinion on this, do write into feedback at ndtv-hindu.com. A quick word about Conrad Veidt, who plays the Nazi commander, Sidney Greenstreet as the city's black market overlord, and Claude Rains as Captain Renault. They form a brilliant supporting cast. Dooley Wilson's ultra-cool jazz stylings are absolutely divine.
Say, who's got trouble?
With its themes of courage, integrity, love and sacrifice, Casablanca is one of the greatest films ever made. Now here's a question. Which actors did producer Hal Wallis nearly cast in the roles of Rick and Ilsa before Bogart and Bergman were finally? Let me repeat. Which actors did producer Hal Wallis nearly cast in the roles of Rick and Ilsa before Bogart and Bergman were cast? The first to write in gets a DVD of Casablanca. Here's our email ID, feedback at ndtv-hindu.com. I look forward to hearing from you, and until I see you next week, Happy New Year and be well.
Now who's lucky? We're all lucky. Just how lucky? Very lucky. Well, smile up then, and once again, let's knock on